Defamation law, in my view, is a necessary curb on free speech. It exists so that people can protect their reputation from untrue and unfair damage. I've used it and had it used against me. But let's be frank, like any arm of the law, it's not perfect. There are unfair judgments, it can be used too much, and there's always room for discussion, debate and reform. And because it's always present as a potential risk and trap for journalists, most people in the media, in most cases, take little joy when others fall foul of defamation proceedings. Not, it seems, media columnist Peter Fitzsimons. Last November, his tweet from the Sydney Morning Herald column, tweeting out his column, and he said the walls are closing in. 2GB management wants Alan Jones out. And in that column that he tweeted out, he went on to detail his view by saying that, to cut to the chase, Alan Jones' contract is up in the middle of the year and current 2GB management does not want to renew it. There are a variety of reasons, said Fitzsimons, but first and foremost is that Jones has in recent times gone from being the biggest asset the station possesses and the greatest generator of profits to being a massive liability. The reckoning is that if Jones is so wildly reckless as to engage in that kind of defamation in his twilight years as a broadcaster, just what might he do next and how much would that defamation cost? And Fitzsimons went on to cite the massive $3.75 million defamation finding against him and the station the previous year, asking if he was so wildly reckless, what might he do next and what might it cost? Wow, talk about sinking the boot and wallowing in schadenfreude. What then to make of Fitzsimons' defamation record? Last week, a judge awarded damages of $385,000 against Nine Media over a Fitzsimons column that unfairly criticised a doctor presiding over a boxing match. The damages had been increased by 10% for various reasons, including that Fitzsimons failed to check with the doctor before publication. Go back another year and the same newspaper was hit with another $300,000 defamation payout to a rugby league trainer over 4 articles, one written by, you guessed it, Peter Fitzsimons. Wow, is Fitzsimons then the best person to be taking joy out of Alan Jones's defamation pain and predicting it would trigger the end of his career? Oh, and as you probably know, Jones's contract was renewed 2 months ago for 2 years and a reported $8 million. So apart from the schadenfreude and hypocrisy, Fitzsimons' hot take didn't turn out to accurately predict events either. That's not particularly unusual. Back during the federal political scandal over dual citizenship, he tweeted that the Conservatives, the born-to-run-the-show mob, he called them, hadn't done the proper vetting, but that the ALP seemed to have taken care of business. Oh dear, in the following months, Labor lost an MP to the same scandal, and another, and another. 5 MPs all up. Talk about taking care of business. Then there was this column from Fitzsimons in December 2014, in the days after the Martin Place terrorist siege that was conducted in Sydney in the name of Islamic State. He cited the story of Rachel Jacobs that sparked the "I'll ride with you" hashtag, supporting it, of course, and then criticising others for suggesting that rather than representing heartwarming solidarity, it was some sort of lefty conspiracy. Well, the trouble is, again, that Fitzy was wrong again. The story was made up, as former Greens candidate Jacobs later confessed. The whole hashtag thing was based on a falsehood. And then this year, in Fitzsimons' home state and his chosen fields of sport and politics, another howler. He wrote that the sports stadium issue would cost the Liberal Premier Gladys Berejiklian the election. They can build the stadiums or win an election, but not both, Fitzsimons said. He also predicted on Twitter that there would be a phenomenal voting backlash against the Premier for the Opera House racing promotion controversy. Just to remind you, the Berejiklian government was returned with a parliamentary majority. In federal politics, Fitzsimons railed against attempts to save the Conservative Liberal MP, Craig Kelly. He said if the Liberal moderates don't rise up now, the Liberals will be shot ducks for a generation. And after Morrison, the next Liberal would smell of pumpkin scones, not fire and brimstone. Now, I'm not really certain what that last bit meant, the pumpkin scones and the fire and brimstone. So perhaps we ought to hear from Fitzsimons himself on what drives his commentary.
I want my columns to have force. I want them to have an impact on people. I want them to go,
Yeah, OK, that didn't really clear that up. But what we do know is that the moderates did not rise up. Kelly was saved, the coalition won the election, and Scott Morrison is still Prime Minister. So that's another poor reading of events from Fitzsimons. That's fine. No one is right all the time. But perhaps he should take this and the Schadenfreude to a whole new level.